Rambo First Blood is an iconic movie because of its introduction of the damaged soldier. Themes of isolation and betrayal play strongly throughout. Despite the numerous terrible sequels that have come out of this franchise, Rambo still stands out as a solid, thoughtful film. The tale of Rambo being thrown out of town and betrayed by the people he fought for rings true even today. People remember Rambo for the intense, violent action prominent in the sequels, but that's not really what First Blood was about. It's more about the psychological and social impact on veterans. It really is so much more than people think it is, which is really weird. I assure you there is a reason this movie is still remembered, and it's worth checking out. If nothing else, it gives you a foundation for newer films like Jarhead and Hurt Locker that play with the same themes. Dark Knight is the best comic book-based movie to date, at least as far as I'm aware. It takes the comic book setting to new heights by incorporating the themes of insanity, good versus evil, and the faults of vigilante justice. It doesn't preach about any of these ideas either, it just kind of presents them in the gray area that they belong in. The image of the Joker as a terrorist is now iconic. Dark Knight single-handedly revitalized the comic book genre. I think it's safe to say without this movie's success and impact on the public consciousness, we never would have seen the Marvel franchise take off the way it did. It isn't the best movie ever made, as some people will tell you, but it's an excellently made film that any audience can enjoy. If you haven't seen this, just do it. You won't regret your time spent. Okay, Knights of Badassdon is a show I expected very little from. A friend of mine insisted I watch it, and I reluctantly agreed. Man, was this a case of don't judge a book by its cover, though. The weird plot of frat boys LARPing it out in the woods turned out to be pretty solid. It traverses a couple of genres by the end. It starts off as a comedy, but then it quickly evolves into a horror, and then even an action film. It's really unique in the way that it's set up. It isn't a work of art, but it's certainly entertaining. If you're looking for something that is overall pretty funny, but also has its own unique style to it, then this is a good choice, especially if there's any trace of D&D fan in you. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a show that won me over pretty immediately. Andy Samberg carries the series pretty well, but the rest of the cast does a solid job of supporting his ridiculous personality. It's a constantly funny show that doesn't bog itself down with interpersonal drama the way something like The Office or How I Met Your Mother would. Basically, think of a slightly more responsible set of super troopers working in a New York police department, and you have Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Again, it's definitely more PG oriented, but it's still a solid choice. Of the comedy shows I've seen in the last 5+ years, this is actually the best non-animated one. If you're expecting a work of art, you obviously are aware of Andy Samberg's repertoire with comedy. It's completely slapstick, but having a television show that can keep that level of comedy consistent throughout it is really nice. At the end of the day, it's an easy show to turn your brain off to for a while.
Okay. What was that? Do you hear something? I think I heard the 7th volume of Netflix Recommends.
Oh yeah, that was it. That was the 7th recommend. Gonna only do 3 more of these guys after this.
Ooh, but you're keeping up a great badass pace. You could be a Knight of Badassdom, which was also on the list.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be awful.
Really did.
Yeah, I was expecting a B movie, and it sort of
is a B movie.
Yeah,
it entirely is. But it plays with horror comedy the way that I want to see it.
Yeah, it does a really good job of that. Really, really nice job of just bringing together like a bunch of, like, it feels like a comedy at first. It feels like kind of a frat boy humory.
There's a bit of that stoner college cast to it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it becomes an actual horror movie, and then it turns into like a fantasy kind of action film at the end.
Really liked where it went though.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for much, but it went well with my meal.
yeah, it's a good film if you just want something easy. Honestly, though, if you're looking for something a little higher brow, Rambo First Blood. I know you wouldn't expect that out of Rambo,
but don't lump it into like Lethal Weapon 1 or anything like that. Rambo First Blood is kind of a hardcore story.
Yeah, it's really about the human side of war and the way that it affects people, the way that socially when you come back, the changes you'll face, and like being isolated, feeling from this different culture now because you've been in war. And yeah, it's actually surprisingly personable. Not Rambo 2, 3, or 4, but Rambo First Blood. Yeah, really nice movie. Really well done.
You get wonderful moments where it's like Stallone is a cornered animal. You know, you drew First Blood, and he's just sort of hiding in the wilderness.
Yeah.
This is epic.
Not actually that much death in it either. Like, not...
No, not compared to something like Dark Knight.
Yeah. Which actually... I think they're around the same level, Dark Knight and Rambo First Blood. Both really nice movies for completely different reasons.
riding a higher brow here, but tell me a bit about Dark Knight to you.
Well, I think with Dark Knight, the best thing about it is the concepts of good and evil that it plays with, and like just seeing those roles of the Joker and Batman brought to real life, where Batman is kind of a crazy guy in a suit who beats up people all night. Like, you can't really... Bruce Wayne, even though he's shown to be a really collected guy who keeps his shit together, he's still a vigilante, and the Joker is a terrorist. Like, the things that he does, when you see it in a comic book style, even when you see Jack Nicholson do it, there's still that comedic element to it that is kind of lost now because it's so much grittier.
Yep. Great times, though. I remember seeing Dark Knight in the theaters, and just... when everybody is euphoric by the end of it. It was actually that movie everybody wanted. It was actually that surprise. It was...
Yeah. It was really good.
I hadn't felt that euphoric coming out of a movie in a long time. Yeah. I didn't see that. And I didn't see the show Nick is about to talk about.
Oh, yeah. It's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So... It's got Andy Samberg in it, who, from Lonely Island, who did Pop Star recently. He's pretty damn funny, and he brings it together. If you've seen Super Troopers, it's like if you took Super Troopers, dropped it to PG-13, and put them in New York. That's the show. Like, it's just stupid cops doing stupid things. But it's not nearly as nasty as Super Troopers gets, and... I don't know, that one has been more of a warm spot for me. But it's an entertaining ride. It's well put together. It's only 3 seasons, too, so it's like, it's really quick.
Finished?
It's finished because it never really... You're not left hanging. Like, the ending isn't bad. It's not conclusive either, but, no, it's a nice... And it is done. Like, it's not going on any longer.
So, would you say the feel reminds you of other Sandberg things like Hot Rod? Or... Is it more?
It's not like
in the realm of TV.
It's more in the realm of TV. Hot Rod. That's, I don't know. That was a weird film. He was doing his own thing there. I honestly try to forget about Hot Rod.
Yeah.
No, you're a big fan?
No. Well, I don't mean like no, but like as.
It's a lot closer to the like Dick in a Box kind of Andy Samberg.
Okay.
With, like slapstick humor. It's totally slapstick humor the entire time, except for there is a little bit of dry humor out of one cast member who plays the police chief, but besides that...
Isn't he like the straight man to the group here?
Yes, exactly that.
Alright.
So you're going to have one of those, and he does a great job of it. He is...
Unblinking bullshitters amongst all the chaos kind of a character then.
But it does have nice things, like he is the unblinking, stoic character facing all of this. But he's also, like, he's gay. He's completely gay. He loves having dinner parties. He loves fine wine. Like, he has that characteristic to him. But it doesn't matter. And there's a lot of characters like that. There's a little bit of nuance to them, even though they're cliches. And it's not a work of art, but it's a fun time.
At least they don't beat a dead horse or anything, and it's just an aspect of character.
Yeah, and it's, like, yeah, it never becomes, oh, he's the gay police chief. It's just...
Whoa!
Or somewhere... I don't even know how far in it is. You're just like, I'm gay. And you're like, oh, okay.
Perfect.
And everybody else overreacts, and it just ends up not mattering. And then it is, like, incorporated into the show, too. So it's not just a joke, which is nice.
And I think that wraps up all 4.
Yeah, that's all 4 for the week. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
See ya.